Self-aware leader. What's going on, guys? Appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much for the DMs that you send me, the emails that I get. It's amazing. I appreciate it. If you want to follow me, I encourage you guys, you can go to Instagram and just type in Self-Aware Podcast or Self-Aware Leader. You'll see me. I'm everywhere. I'm also on X, or I like to call it Twitter. I'm also on there because I can, I have a little bit more freedom to kind of share some, things. I don't get too political, but I do get spiritual. And when you're talking about self-awareness and getting really deep spiritually, a lot of times I've had posts blocked and everything else. And it's just real weird because I'm talking about abundance and love and, exactly what is happening in truth and how we can be more self-aware. It's just crazy to me. I think the algorithms, there's just so many posts going and so many videos that are out there. So it's pretty crazy. Today, we're going to talk about a book that I read a long time ago, but I'm not going to do the book. I'm actually going to talk about poor dad mentality. And a lot of you have read The Rich Dad, Poor Dad. If you're a leader, for me, it was in my early 20s when I first came across Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. If you haven't read it, you need to buy it and read it. You can literally get it. You could go to Goodwill, get it for 99 cents. You could go on eBay, probably buy it for $2.99 or $3.99 with shipping. I mean, it's literally everywhere. It's sold probably hundreds of millions of copies. But the whole idea is that mindset's everything. And Kiyosaki's contrast is his rich dad, which was his mentor, and then he had his poor dad, which was his own father. And he showed how each of them had different views on money and success, and how money and the view of money and what you think about money can make or break us. And I've struggled this with myself. Growing up, I grew up poor. My father was a Baptist minister, and so, in small churches, he pastored small churches. So for the most part, I had for me, it was just common to see everyone around me had a poor dad mindset. Everyone was great people, amazing people, very moral, good people, hard workers, really hard workers. But they saw money as something you just earned at a job, and it was always like never enough. But they never viewed money that it could actually grow. Because when you don't have enough and you have a scarcity mindset, not an abundance mindset, this is what happens. And so I started noticing how their fear of risk and their focus on just getting by was beginning to rub off on me. And when I really noticed this in my 20s, I had to break free from that. And the book was a wake-up call for me. It made me realize I needed to shake things up in my life. I wanted a different life. I didn't want to live paycheck to paycheck. I did not want to barely survive. I don't want to be checking my bank account all the time to make sure I have enough money in it. Or back in the day, I can remember bouncing checks, my parents bouncing checks. I want to dream bigger. And I told myself, I am going to have a different life. I want a rich dad life. And so I started seeking out people who were already successful, people who thought like Kiyosaki, the rich dad. And I read a ton of books on finance, on like investing and compound interest and what that looks like, and real estate, and owning my own business and being entrepreneurial. I took courses. But it was the mentors, it was the people that I surrounded myself with. Those were the people that could guide me. And it wasn't easy. I'm telling you right now, if you're in that stage where you're going from poor dad mentality to rich dad mentality, you have to unlearn old habits. And those beliefs that were ingrained in you, those fears of money that you watched your parents struggle, or you watched those that you lived around and with and your friends and family, those beliefs are tough. I see it now if I'm around family. It's this whole idea of like, just play it safe, be careful, save every penny that you have. And I had to constantly challenge myself to stay outside my comfort zone. And I had to take calculated risks. As an entrepreneur, that's what you do. And I had to view money, and I want you guys to get this. This is really important. I had to see money as an opportunity, not just a paycheck. And so little by little, as I begin to change, begin to educate myself, begin to understand actually what money is, and I believe money is energy. That's all it is. It's just energy. It's agreed upon transaction of value, isn't it? And my mindset started shifting. I began to see possibilities I hadn't seen before. And it allowed me to make bolder decisions. It allowed me to begin, number one, this is important, guys, number one, invest in myself and invest in the ideas that my higher self was bringing me. But I'm going to tell you something. The hardest part, the biggest challenge you're going to have is breaking away. Breaking away and distancing yourself from the poor dad influences that are in your life. That aunt that always tells you to play it safe, you've got to distance yourself from her. That family member, that friend that you've had since high school and they live paycheck to paycheck, that have limiting beliefs, that are telling you wrong advice, they're holding you back. And so I had to find a balance. Now, do I still love them and care about them? Of course. But I had to make a self-aware, conscious effort to spend more time with people who are on the same path as me. And I know I'm not where I want to be yet. I still get tripped up with money and you know, things can happen and you know how that goes. Sometimes I'll go on a vacation and we'll be spending a lot of money and I'll check my bank account or I'll, you know, check my credit card and see how much we've spent. I still get that. But I have, and I believe that I'm miles ahead of where I would be if I'd have stayed stuck in the old mindset, if I would have still hung around those poor dad people and influences in my life. I'm building businesses, I'm investing in assets, and I'm creating a life that I'm truly excited about. So today, if you're feeling trapped by a poor dad mentality, I want you to know this. You can change. You have the ability inside yourself to change. Ask your higher self that you want to begin to change, that you want abundance in your life. And I guarantee you, your higher self will reveal to you the next steps that you need to do. It's not easy, but it's absolutely possible. And if you want to do this, I encourage you, seek out mentors. Educate yourself. And mentors can be, I have a lot of mentors online. I've never met them. Some I invest in and go see them speak live. I think it's always great to go to a conference or two. But I have a ton of podcasts that I constantly listen to where I'm learning. There's so many ways that you can learn off a podcast. And you're listening to this one right now and learning. But seek out mentors. Educate yourself. Get books. Books are so cheap. If you don't have money, get a library card. It's absolutely free. You can search and you can have books brought to you about investing. You can have books brought to you about abundance, brought to you about money. And I encourage you, take self-aware. Just let me, I want to make it super simple. Do the notepad thing that I always talk about. Get it out. Write what are limiting beliefs in money and abundance that I have. What scarcity mindsets do I have? Ask your higher self to reveal those to you. What beliefs, what limiting beliefs, these false beliefs that I have. And then from there, take action. And I guarantee you guys, your future self will thank you.